How much XRP do you need to be wealthy in a few years? Because you guys ask me this question all the time. I decided to do some research today and give you a few possible times when you could turn a certain amount of XRP into megabucks. This is what I wanted to say because I know most of you want to make a lot of money and be financially free. Also want to use advanced tooling systems to do some analysis and breakdown, as well as show you some other cool ways you can use your XRP holdings to make more money. This way you can make sure you're always making money instead of just holding on to that XRP and letting it sit there while other big whales and large investors use theirs. Celebrities. So I started by asking Grok a simple question. How much XRP do I need to get rich in the next few years? This way, Grok can look at all the different news stations and come up with an answer that is more or less in the middle of all the top news sources that it thinks are reliable and full of facts. However, it's clear that this isn't always true. For example, OpenAI was asked in October if XRP could hit $3, 0 cents, and the answer was that it wouldn't happen until 2025. It's clear that what AI tools say and what actually happens in the markets aren't always the same. And there are many things. I'll read what the AI tool says and then tell you what I really think about it. So I'll tell you what I think will happen. To be honest, I was much more accurate than the AI tools were in October 2024 and the year before that. But first, let's look at the most conservative price expectations for 2025. Change really did say that XRP would hit $205 to $377, while CoinCoder said it would be between $189 and $251. We've also heard that it could go as high as $581, 0 cents, like CoinDaddy's standard charter 550, and Egg Great Cryptos at $170, 0 cents. After giving it some thought, I think that $170, 0 cents is the most likely price, given what we can expect this year and the huge liquidity cycle that is about to begin. I do think that many of these other news outlets are biased against XRP for some reason. So this is, and so it's interesting that they're giving such low numbers when global liquidity is rising so quickly and there's a lot of doubt about fiat currency. People usually dump huge amounts of money into cryptocurrency. We also know that XRP has the clearest rules about regulation of any coin and is one of the few cryptocurrencies that is currently being used to solve problems in the real world. If you think back to the dot-com bubble, compare the companies that did nothing but had huge value to those that did something and offered a service that was of reasonable value. Which ones are still around? I think you can answer that. You can see this in Google and anyway. I think XRP is in a good place right now, and I think the more optimistic predictions are more likely to come true, at least for 2025. That being said, I did say that we're thinking about the next few years, not just a few months. That being said, I do think that a more optimistic situation could lead to a price of up to $20, 0 cents this year. I'm sure we'll get more than, say, $5, 0 cents to $10, 0 cents per coin. That's a very likely estimate of how much more we'll get. If we reach $5, 0 cents, $10, 0 cents, or $20, 0 cents, how much do you need this year to reach your goals? Of course, if we reach $10, 0 cents XRP, you'll only need $100,000, 0 cents XRP, which I know is a lot for some of you. It will be worth it though. When XRP hits $10, 0 cents, which I think is very likely, it will be clear that it was worth it. If it goes up to $20, 0 cents a coin, you'll only need 50, 0 XRP. Again, that might seem expensive to you now. I think it was just over $100,000, 0 cents. But if you can turn that into $1 million, that's pretty cool, right? That's a gain of about 10 times the price now, which is crazy. That's pretty much what Grok is saying, though. They're telling you that your holdings are worth $1 million, 0 cents if XRP hits $10, 0 cents by 2027. If it goes up to $5, 0 cents, you'll have $500, 0 cents. Grok says that buying between $50, 0 cents and XRP worth $100, 0 cents. You won't mind if XRP goes down a little. It's all about how much money you have, right? Yes, I agree. I think that getting $50, 0 cents to $1, 0 cents in XRP is a good long-term goal for many people. I know that this might not be possible for many of you this year, but guys, it is very possible if you can put money into XRP every month. I just wanted to show you how fair it is. That's the median wage in the US and Canada, which is $50, 0 cents a month. If you divide $50, 0 cents by 12, you get $466, 0 cents a month. Now, let's say that all of your prices add up to $3.50 a month. At the end of after all your costs, you have about $600, 0 cents left over each month to invest. That's $6, 0 cents a month, which adds up pretty quickly. That's $7, 0 cents, 1,000 a year. If you multiply that by 12, that's what you get for doing that for 5 years. You put $36, 0 cents into it. You can get more out of this in other ways as well. For example, you could cut back on your spending and get up to $1 a month in XRP. If you buy XRP on the market and start to accumulate it in 2027, 2028, or 2029, for example, I think it's easy to get a 10x, which would turn $60, 0 cents into $600, 0 cents in that time. This is a great way to make money all the time, and I think that anyone who wants to make huge gains should dollar cost average into XRP. If you want to get more for your money, I did talk about that at the beginning of the video. So there's several ways to do this. I think the best thing to do is trade. For example, I hold about 80% of my money in cryptocurrency that I keep putting money into by dollar cost averaging. Then I use the last 20% of my crypto to sell what I do now, which is option trading. And some months I make 400%. The worst month was probably 60%, but every month it's always between 60% and 400% based on how the markets do. That's still pretty crazy though, right? If you consistently make 100% gains every month, that adds up very quickly. Every month you're pretty much doubling your money. If you start with $1, 0 cents, that's 2 times $1, 0 cents, which is months 2 to 11. Yes, it does add up very, very quickly. It's clear that not every month will be 100%. Some could be 60% and some could be 400%. I have, however, helped some people change their lives. Some people in my Discord said, Levi, your trade has changed my life. In just a few months, I turned $2, 0 cents into, some people in our trade group have done that, and it doesn't make sense. That can happen during these kinds of bull runs. And of course, there are risks. No one wins every time. That's what trading is all about, protecting yourself from harm. But the truth is that Wall Street bigwigs do this every day and make a crazy amount of money doing it.